Welcome to Buddhist Mindfulness, a channel where we explore life's most profound lessons through the lens of mindfulness and spiritual wisdom. In today's video, we delve into a topic that challenges societal norms yet offers profound peace: living joyfully alone. The truth about friendship in old age. Aging is often seen as a time of decline, but what if it could be reframed as an era of liberation and self-discovery? As we age, friendships naturally evolve, and some connections may fade. However, this does not signify loss, but opens doors to new opportunities for growth and contentment. Solitude, when embraced mindfully, becomes a source of strength rather than loneliness. It allows us to deepen our relationship with ourselves, discover inner peace, and reflect on life's purpose. In this video, we will uncover how old age is not the end of meaningful relationships, but a time to nurture quality over quantity. We'll explore practical ways to cultivate joy, resilience, and gratitude, regardless of the number of people in our social circles. Stick with us as we unravel insights that might just transform your perspective on aging, solitude, and the true essence of friendship. Number 1, the shift in priorities, embracing solitude. As we journey through life, our priorities naturally evolve. In our younger years, friendships are often central, serving as a reflection of our identity and a source of support. But as we grow older, a remarkable transformation occurs. Urgency to maintain large social circles diminishes, giving way to the peace found in solitude. This shift is not merely a retreat, but an embrace of something deeper and more profound, a reconnection with oneself. In our youth, social connections are often paramount. They define our experiences and shape our understanding of the world. Friendships are vibrant, filled with shared adventures, laughter, and even occasional heartbreaks. These relationships are integral to our growth, teaching us empathy, communication, and resilience. However, as the years pass, the dynamics of these connections shift. The boisterous gatherings and endless conversations begin to feel less essential. Instead, a select few meaningful relationships take precedence. This narrowing of focus is not a loss, but rather a refinement of what truly matters. An elderly monk once shared his story of how he transitioned from a bustling monastery to a solitary retreat in the mountains. Initially, he missed the camaraderie of his fellow monks. The laughter during shared meals, the collective chanting, and the support during moments of doubt were deeply ingrained in his daily life. However, the decision to embrace solitude was driven by an inner calling, a desire to explore the depths of his spirituality without distraction. In the beginning, solitude felt like an unwelcome silence. The absence of familiar voices was almost deafening. But as days turned into months, the monk discovered a profound stillness within himself. In this stillness, he found clarity. His meditation practice deepened, revealing insights that had eluded him amidst the hustle and bustle of the monastery. He began to see the interconnectedness of all life, appreciating the mountains, the rivers, and even the whispers of the wind as teachers. This journey of solitude was not an escape, but a pilgrimage into the essence of his being. Similarly, old age offers us this chance to turn inward and rediscover our inner richness. It is an opportunity to shift our focus from external achievements and relationships to the treasures within. Just as the monk found enlightenment in solitude, we too can find a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. In solitude, we often find the clarity to appreciate life's simple joys. A sunrise, a favorite book, or the sound of birdsong. These moments take on new significance when experienced alone. They remind us that contentment is not dependent on external validation, but on inner peace. The beauty of solitude lies in its ability to strip away the noise, revealing the essence of life's most profound truths. Consider the act of watching a sunrise. In solitude, this experience becomes more than just a visual spectacle. It transforms into a meditation on the passage of time and the cyclical nature of life. The rising sun becomes a symbol of renewal, a reminder that every day is an opportunity to begin anew. Similarly, reading a beloved book alone allows us to immerse ourselves fully in its narrative, forging a connection with the author's thoughts and emotions. The sound of birdsong, often overlooked in our busy lives, becomes a symphony of nature, reminding us of the interconnectedness of all living beings. As we age, solitude becomes a sanctuary for self-discovery. It provides the space to reflect on our lives, our choices, and our growth. This reflection is not always easy. It requires us to confront our fears, regrets, and vulnerabilities. But in doing so, we gain a deeper understanding of ourselves. We learn to forgive our mistakes, celebrate our achievements, and embrace our imperfections. Solitude also fosters creativity. Without the distractions of social obligations, our minds are free to wander, to dream, and to create. Many great works of art, literature, and philosophy have emerged from moments of solitude. This creative energy is not limited to artists and thinkers. It is accessible to all who dare to embrace the quiet and listen to their inner voice. In today's fast-paced world, the idea of solitude often feels counterintuitive. We are constantly connected through technology, inundated with notifications, messages, and updates. The pressure to stay socially engaged can be overwhelming, leaving little room for introspection. However, embracing solitude does not mean isolating ourselves from the world. Instead, it means carving out intentional moments of quiet amidst the chaos. Practical steps to embrace solitude include setting aside time each day for reflection, disconnecting from digital devices, and immersing ourselves in nature. These practices allow us to recharge and reconnect with our inner selves. They remind us that we are not defined by our social interactions, but by the depth of our character and the richness of our inner world. While solitude offers profound benefits, it is essential to balance it with meaningful connections. Human beings are inherently social creatures, and relationships play a crucial role in our well-being. The key lies in cultivating relationships that nourish us rather than drain us. Surrounding ourselves with people who inspire, support, and uplift us enhances our lives and complements the peace we find in solitude. The shift in priorities as we age is not about choosing between solitude and connection, but about harmonizing the two. It is about recognizing that both are essential for a fulfilling life. Solitude provides the space for self-discovery and inner peace, while connections offer love, support, and shared joy. Together, they create a balanced and meaningful existence. The journey through life is marked by constant change. Our priorities evolve, and our understanding of what truly matters deepens. Embracing solitude is not a rejection of the world, but an invitation to explore its wonders from a new perspective. It is a chance to reconnect with ourselves, to find peace in the quiet, and to appreciate the beauty of life's simple joys. As we grow older, let us welcome this shift in priorities with open hearts. Let us embrace solitude not as loneliness, but as a profound opportunity for self-discovery and inner growth. And let us remember that in the stillness of solitude, we often find the clarity to appreciate the richness of life in its purest form. Number 2, the freedom of self-reliance. Old age brings a liberation that many of us overlook, the freedom of self-reliance. Throughout life, we often look to others to fill emotional voids or validate our worth. We seek approval, affirmation, and companionship, often believing that our happiness hinges on external factors. However, as we age, we come to realize a profound truth: we are enough. This realization is not only liberating, but also transformative, offering a unique kind of freedom that is deeply enriching and empowering. Consider the story of an elderly widow who found joy and purpose in tending to her garden after her children moved away. At first, the garden was merely a way to pass the time and distract herself from the loneliness of an empty home. She started with a few potted plants, unsure if she even had the skills to keep them alive. Yet, over time, what began as a simple hobby transformed into a meditative practice and a source of deep fulfillment. Each morning, she would step outside with a sense of purpose, ready to nurture the life she had cultivated. Every flower she planted, every weed she removed, and every vine she trimmed became a reflection of her resilience. Her garden blossomed into a sanctuary, not just of flowers and greenery, but of self-discovery and self-reliance. Each bloom symbolized her ability to thrive independently. It wasn't that she didn't love or miss her children. Rather, she had discovered that her happiness didn't solely depend on their presence. One day, a neighbor asked her, "How do you manage to keep this garden so beautiful?" The widow smiled and replied, "It's not just the plants I'm tending to. It's myself. Every flower is a reminder that I have the strength to grow and flourish no matter the season of life." Self-reliance doesn't mean isolation. It means recognizing the strength and wisdom within ourselves. It's about finding joy in our own company, discovering passions that ignite our spirit, and cultivating a sense of inner peace that isn't easily shaken by external circumstances. By embracing this freedom, we can focus on activities that genuinely bring us joy and fulfillment, rather than chasing after fleeting or superficial forms of validation. As we grow older, we often accumulate a wealth of experiences and lessons that shape our understanding of the world and ourselves. These lessons teach us that we are capable of weathering storms, adapting to change, and finding beauty in simplicity. The widow's story is a poignant reminder of this truth. Her garden became more than just a collection of plants. It was a living metaphor for her inner strength and self-reliance. The journey to self-reliance is not always straightforward. It requires unlearning the dependency we've built over the years on others' opinions, societal expectations, or material possessions. It involves cultivating a mindset of gratitude for what we have and who we are rather than lamenting what we lack. To begin this journey, consider starting with small intentional actions. 1. Practice mindfulness. Spend a few moments each day in quiet reflection. Whether it's through meditation, journaling, or simply sitting in nature, mindfulness helps you reconnect with your inner self. Set personal goals. Identify activities or skills you've always wanted to explore. Pursuing these goals can instill a sense of accomplishment and purpose. 3. Celebrate small wins. Acknowledge and appreciate the small victories in your daily life, whether it's learning something new, completing a task, or overcoming a challenge. 4. Keep a gratitude journal where you list things you're thankful for. This practice shifts your focus from what's missing to what's abundant. 5. Nurture relationships wisely. While self-reliance emphasizes inner strength, it doesn't negate the value of meaningful relationships. Surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you, rather than drain your energy. Part of embracing self-reliance is letting go of the need to control or fix everything around us. Aging teaches us that life is a series of unpredictable events, and our strength lies not in resisting change, but in adapting to it. The widow's garden thrived because she accepted the seasons. She didn't lament the falling leaves in autumn or the bare branches in winter. Instead, she understood that each season had its purpose, and she worked with what nature provided. Similarly, self-reliance involves accepting ourselves as we are, imperfections and all. It's about letting go of the need for perfection and embracing the beauty of being a work in progress. This acceptance creates a profound sense of freedom, allowing us to live authentically and wholeheartedly. Solitude often gets a bad reputation, equated with loneliness or isolation. However, solitude can be a source of immense joy and creativity when approached with the right mindset. It's in these quiet moments that we can truly listen to our inner voice, rediscover our passions, and connect with the world on a deeper level. The widow's story illustrates this beautifully. Her garden became her companion, a place where she could pour her energy and love. In return, it gave her a sense of purpose and belonging. This mutual exchange is a powerful testament to the idea that we can find connection and fulfillment within ourselves and our surroundings, without relying solely on external sources. As we embrace self-reliance, we also create a legacy for those who come after us. Our children, grandchildren, and loved ones learn from our example. They see that independence and inner strength are not just ideals but achievable realities. The widow's garden, for instance, became a source of inspiration for her community. Neighbors began planting their own gardens, drawn by her quiet resilience and the beauty she had created. In this way, self-reliance is not a solitary endeavor. It ripples outward, touching the lives of others and encouraging them to embark on their own journeys of self-discovery. The freedom of self-reliance is a gift that comes with time, experience, and reflection. It's about finding strength in our own abilities, joy in our own company, and purpose in our own pursuits. The story of the widow and her garden serves as a powerful reminder that we are capable of flourishing no matter the circumstances. As we embrace this freedom, we unlock a life that is rich, meaningful, and deeply fulfilling. We come to understand that we are enough, just as we are. And in this understanding, we find the true essence of liberation. Number 3, quality over quantity in relationships. As we age, the pursuit of numerous friendships often gives way to a desire for deeper, more meaningful connections. It's not about how many friends we have, but about the quality of those relationships. This shift in perspective reflects a fundamental truth about human connection. Authenticity matters more than abundance. Once, in a quiet village nestled at the foot of a mountain, an elder shared his wisdom with a young apprentice. The apprentice, eager to learn the secrets of a fulfilling life, asked, "Master, what is the key to happiness?" The elder smiled and replied, "When I was young, I sought to be loved by many. I thought happiness lay in the admiration of the crowd. I worked hard to make friends, to please everyone, and to be accepted. My days were filled with laughter, but my nights were lonely, for none of those connections truly saw me for who I was." The apprentice frowned, puzzled. "But isn't having many friends a good thing?" The elder nodded gently. "It can be, but let me tell you what I've learned. Over time, I realized that not all friendships are equal. There are those who walk beside you in the sunlight but disappear in the storm. Then there are those rare souls who hold your hand in the darkness, asking nothing in return. Now I cherish the love of a few who truly see me, who know my flaws and embrace them, who celebrate my joys and grieve my sorrows as if they were their own." The apprentice listened intently, the elder's words planting seeds of understanding in his heart. "So," the elder continued, "it is better to have a single tree that bears sweet, nourishing fruit than a forest of barren ones. Choose your connections wisely and nurture them with care." In our fast-paced world, it's easy to be swept up in the pursuit of popularity. Social media, networking events, and societal pressures often push us to expand our circles endlessly. But how often do we pause to ask ourselves, are these relationships meaningful? Do they bring us joy, comfort, and growth? Or are they simply filling a void, masking loneliness with numbers? Letting go of superficial relationships is not a loss, but a gain in time, energy, and emotional peace. Imagine the freedom of no longer feeling obligated to maintain shallow connections. Instead, you can channel your resources into bonds that truly matter, that nourish your soul and uplift your spirit. Deep connections thrive when we focus on mutual respect and understanding. Authentic relationships are built on trust, empathy, and vulnerability. They require effort and intention, but offer immeasurable rewards in return. These are the friendships that sustain us through life's trials, that celebrate our victories without envy, and that provide a safe space for our truest selves to flourish. How can we identify the relationships worth investing in? Here are some hallmarks of quality connections. 1. Mutual respect. Both parties value and appreciate each other's boundaries, opinions, and individuality. 2. Emotional support. A true friend is there for you in times of need, offering comfort and understanding without judgment. 3. Authenticity. You can be your genuine self without fear of rejection or ridicule. 4. Reciprocity. The relationship is balanced, with both individuals giving and receiving equally. 5. Growth. The connection encourages personal development and brings out the best in both parties. Letting go of quantity doesn't mean isolating yourself or shutting out new connections. It means being intentional about the relationships you cultivate. It's about choosing depth over breadth, substance over superficiality. Here's how you can begin. Reflect on your current relationships. Take time to evaluate the connections in your life. Which ones bring you joy? Which ones feel draining or one-sided? Set boundaries. It's okay to distance yourself from relationships that no longer serve you. Protect your energy and prioritize your well-being. Focus on quality. Invest time and effort into the relationships that truly matter. Show appreciation, communicate openly, and be present. Be selective. When forming new connections, look for those who share your values and can engage in meaningful interactions. The beauty of quality relationships lies in their ability to enrich our lives in profound ways. They teach us about love, compassion, and resilience. They remind us that we are not alone, that we are seen, heard, and valued. And most importantly, they allow us to give and receive the gift of genuine connection. As the elder wisely said, it is better to have a single tree that bears sweet, nourishing fruit than a forest of barren ones. In embracing quality over quantity, we cultivate a garden of relationships that bloom with trust, understanding, and joy. So take a moment to reflect on your own relationships. Who are the people who truly see you? Who are the ones who walk beside you through both the sunlight and the storms? Nurture those bonds, for they are the treasures that make life richer and more meaningful. In the end, it's not about how many people stand by you, but about the depth of their presence and the authenticity of their love. Number 4, cherishing solitude and reflection. Solitude in old age is not loneliness. It is a sanctuary for reflection and creativity. As the bustling demands of earlier years fade away, we are gifted with a profound opportunity to embrace the quiet moments and nurture our inner lives. Solitude becomes a canvas upon which we can paint the stories of our past, contemplate the wisdom gained from our experiences, and find peace in simply being. There once lived a retired poet named Arthur, who had spent decades teaching literature to young minds in a crowded city. Upon retirement, Arthur sought solace in the countryside, choosing a small cottage by a tranquil lake surrounded by willows and wildflowers. Each morning, as the sun cast its golden glow upon the water, Arthur would sit on an old wooden bench with a notebook and pen in hand. The serenity of the lake and the songs of birds became his muses. Arthur found that his solitude amplified his creativity. In the stillness, he revisited memories long buried beneath the responsibilities of his teaching career. He penned verses about his childhood, the love he once knew, the joy of teaching, and the bittersweet passage of time. Thoughts and emotions he had suppressed over the years flowed freely onto the pages. His poetry captured not only the beauty of nature, but also the depth of human experience. Love, loss, resilience, and hope. One poem, titled Reflections on the Lake, became particularly famous. It began, "In the ripples of this tranquil lake I see my past unfold, shadows of a life well lived, tales both tender and bold." Arthur's work resonated with readers far and wide. His solitude, once mistaken by some as loneliness, had given him the space to create a legacy that would inspire generations. Young poets would often visit the lake to meet Arthur, seeking his wisdom. He would always smile and say, "Find your solitude, and you will find your voice." Arthur's story is a reminder of the transformative power of solitude. Far from being an empty void, solitude is a fertile ground for personal growth and creativity. In these moments of quiet, we can engage in creative pursuits. Like Arthur, many individuals discover that solitude fosters creativity. Whether it's writing, painting, gardening, or crafting, creative activities flourish when the mind is free from external distractions. In solitude, we can explore new ideas, experiment without judgment, and bring our visions to life. Deepen spiritual practice. Solitude provides the perfect setting for introspection and spiritual growth. It is in these moments that we can meditate, pray, or simply sit in silence, reconnecting with our inner selves and the universe. This practice often leads to a sense of peace and clarity. Appreciate the beauty of life. Solitude allows us to slow down and notice the simple joys that might otherwise be overlooked. The way sunlight filters through leaves, the sound of rain tapping on the roof, or the taste of a warm cup of tea. These small moments of beauty remind us of the richness of life. Revisit memories with gratitude. Reflection is a natural companion to solitude. In these quiet times, we can look back on our lives with gratitude, celebrating our achievements, learning from our mistakes, and finding closure for unresolved emotions. This process helps us to make peace with the past and embrace the present. For many, the transition to solitude, particularly in old age, can be challenging. The shift from a busy life filled with work, family, and social obligations to quieter days can feel unfamiliar and even unsettling. However, by reframing solitude as an opportunity rather than a loss, we can begin to see its immense value. Here are some practical ways to cherish solitude. Create a routine. Establish a daily routine that includes activities you enjoy, such as reading, walking, journaling, or listening to music. A routine provides structure and ensures that solitude is intentional rather than aimless. Connect with nature. Spending time in natural surroundings can enhance the benefits of solitude. Nature has a calming effect on the mind and inspires creativity and reflection. Whether it's a walk in the park, tending to a garden, or sitting by a lake like Arthur, nature invites us to slow down and breathe deeply. Pursue a passion. Use your solitude to explore or deepen a passion. Take up a hobby you've always wanted to try or return to one you've set aside. The joy of creating or learning something new can be immensely fulfilling. Practice gratitude. Begin or end each day by reflecting on the things you are grateful for. Writing them down in a journal can make this practice even more powerful, reminding you of the beauty and blessings in your life. Cultivate mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment. Through mindfulness meditation, or simply paying close attention to your thoughts and surroundings, you can deepen your appreciation of solitude and reduce feelings of restlessness. In a world that often values constant activity and social connection, solitude can feel like an anomaly. Yet, it is in solitude that we find the space to truly know ourselves. It allows us to step back from the noise of daily life and listen to the whispers of our hearts. It is a gift, one that grows more precious with time. As we age, solitude becomes a sanctuary, offering the freedom to reflect, create, and simply be. Whether through art, meditation, or quiet contemplation, it is in these moments of aloneness that we discover our truest selves and the enduring beauty of life. Let us cherish solitude, not as an absence, but as an opportunity to live fully and authentically. Arthur's story reminds us that solitude is not a void, but a wellspring of inspiration and peace. Just as he found his voice by the lake, so too can we find our own truths in the quiet moments of life. Solitude is not something to be feared or avoided, but embraced as a profound and enriching part of our journey. Number 5, the importance of family and community. In the intricate tapestry of human life, family and community stand as two of the most vital threads. They offer not only support and love, but also a sense of identity and belonging that grounds us, especially as we age. While friendships may wane in importance over time, the bonds of family and the support of a community often take center stage, providing a sense of legacy and fulfillment that is irreplaceable. Family serves as the cornerstone of our lives. From the moment we are born, our family shapes our perceptions, values, and understanding of the world. They are the first to celebrate our successes and the first to console us in times of failure. As we grow older, the role of family often deepens. Parents transition into grandparents, offering wisdom and perspective that only time can bring. Siblings become lifelong confidants, and the younger generation serves as a reminder of the continuity of life. Consider the story of an elderly grandfather who lived alone but found immense joy in his weekly phone calls with his grandchildren. Every Sunday, without fail, they would call, sharing stories about their week, asking for advice, or simply listening to his tales from a bygone era. For the grandfather, these calls were more than just a routine. They were a lifeline. They reminded him of the life he had built, the values he had instilled, and the love that continued to thrive within his family. For the grandchildren, these calls were a treasure trove of wisdom, a connection to their roots, and a source of inspiration. Such interactions highlight the profound importance of family as a source of emotional nourishment and connection. Even in the absence of physical proximity, the bonds of love and respect endure, bridging generations and reinforcing the family's collective identity. While family forms the inner circle of our support system, the broader community plays an equally vital role in enriching our lives. Communities provide a network of social connections that foster a sense of belonging and purpose. They are the spaces where we share our joys and sorrows, work together toward common goals, and celebrate our shared humanity. For older adults, community engagement can be especially significant. Retirement often brings about a loss of daily social interactions that work environments provide. Communities fill this void, offering opportunities for connection, contribution, and continued growth. Whether it's through volunteering, participating in local events, or joining interest-based groups, community involvement keeps individuals active, engaged, and connected. In a small suburban neighborhood, a group of retirees came together to start a community garden. What began as a simple project to grow vegetables soon blossomed into something much more meaningful. Each morning, the group would gather to tend to the garden, sharing stories, laughter, and advice. Over time, the garden became a hub for the entire community, attracting younger families who brought their children to learn about planting and sustainability. For the retirees, the garden was more than a source of fresh produce. It was a source of purpose and a symbol of their ability to contribute meaningfully to their community. This story underscores the power of community in fostering connections and creating opportunities for shared experiences. It also highlights how communities can be intergenerational, bringing together people of all ages to learn from and support one another. Both family and community offer a sense of continuity and purpose that is particularly grounding as we navigate the later stages of life. They remind us that we are part of something larger than ourselves, a network of relationships and shared experiences that extend beyond individual lifetimes. This sense of connection is not only emotionally fulfilling, but also contributes to mental and physical well being. Studies have shown that individuals with strong family ties and active community involvement tend to have lower levels of stress and depression and higher levels of overall life satisfaction. These connections provide a safety net during challenging times and amplify the joys of life's milestones. They encourage us to share our stories, pass down our wisdom, and leave a legacy that future generations can cherish. The importance of family and community cannot be overstated, but maintaining these bonds requires effort and intentionality. In today's fast-paced, digitally connected world, it's easy to let relationships drift. However, simple actions can go a long way in strengthening these connections. For families, regular communication is key. Whether it's a weekly phone call, a monthly family dinner, or an annual reunion, these moments of connection reinforce the bonds of love and belonging. For communities, active participation is essential. Volunteering, attending local events, and supporting community initiatives are all ways to stay engaged and contribute to the collective well-being. The benefits of strong family and community ties extend beyond the individual. They create a ripple effect, fostering a culture of care and connection that impacts everyone involved. Children who grow up in close-knit families and communities are more likely to develop empathy, resilience, and a sense of responsibility. Adults who prioritize these relationships find greater meaning and satisfaction in their lives. Even society at large benefits as strong families and communities contribute to social cohesion and stability. In the journey of life, family and community are our anchors. They ground us in times of uncertainty, celebrate with us in moments of joy, and remind us of our place in the world. As we age, their importance becomes even more apparent, offering a sense of legacy, belonging, and purpose that enriches our lives in profound ways. By nurturing these bonds, we not only enhance our own well-being, but also contribute to a more connected and compassionate world. Number 6, letting go of social expectations. Old age grants us the freedom to step away from societal expectations. The pressure to maintain an extensive social network or meet certain standards fades, allowing us to focus on what truly matters. In the twilight of life, there is a profound opportunity to redefine our purpose and live authentically. As we age, we often gain clarity about our true desires and values, discovering that much of what we once pursued was dictated by external forces rather than internal fulfillment. From a young age, we are conditioned to conform to societal norms. These expectations shape how we dress, behave, and even think. Society often dictates milestones such as pursuing a specific career, getting married, having children, or achieving financial success. While these milestones may bring joy and stability to some, for others, they can become a source of pressure and anxiety. Over time, the weight of trying to meet these expectations can leave us feeling disconnected from our authentic selves. In our younger years, we may feel compelled to maintain appearances, attending events, engaging in conversations we don't enjoy, or staying in relationships that no longer serve us. However, as we age, the realization dawns that these societal standards are not universal truths, but constructs that we can choose to embrace or discard. Letting go of these pressures is not an act of defiance, but a step toward living a life rooted in authenticity. Take the story of Mrs. Lan, a retired teacher who spent decades dedicating her life to education and her community. After retiring, she felt an unspoken obligation to maintain an active social presence. Invitations to community events, alumni gatherings, and family celebrations piled up, and she felt the weight of expectations to attend them all. There was a lingering fear in her heart. What would people think if she didn't show up? Would they label her as selfish, antisocial, or indifferent? For a while, Mrs. Lan forced herself to keep up with the pace, even at the expense of her own happiness. But the constant busyness took a toll on her well-being. One day, after declining yet another invitation, she found herself in her garden, surrounded by the quiet beauty of nature. For the first time in years, she allowed herself to sit still and reflect. She realized how much she missed her hobbies. painting, reading, and tending to her flowers. She also remembered her love for helping others, not through formal events, but through personal connections and acts of kindness. Mrs. Land decided to shift her focus. Instead of attending every social event, she began volunteering at a local shelter, teaching art classes to underprivileged children. She spent more time painting and even exhibited her work at a local gallery. Her days were no longer filled with obligations, but with meaningful activities that brought her joy. Over time, she found that the people who truly mattered understood and supported her choices. Mrs. Land's story illustrates the power of prioritizing one's happiness over societal expectations. Letting go of social expectations can be daunting, especially when we've spent a lifetime adhering to them. However, the rewards of this liberation are immeasurable. When we stop seeking validation from others, we open the door to a life that aligns with our values and passions. Authentic living allows us to rediscover personal passions. Freed from external pressures, we can explore hobbies, interests, and pursuits that may have been set aside. This exploration often brings a renewed sense of purpose and excitement. Build meaningful relationships. Without the need to please everyone, we can focus on nurturing deeper connections with people who truly matter to us. Enhance mental well-being. The stress of meeting societal expectations often leads to anxiety and burnout. By letting go, we create space for peace and contentment. Inspire others. Living authentically can encourage others to do the same, fostering a community of individuals who prioritize happiness and self-fulfillment. The journey to letting go of societal expectations is deeply personal. It requires introspection and the courage to challenge long-held beliefs. For some, this realization comes gradually. For others, it may be triggered by a significant life event, such as retirement, a health scare, or the loss of a loved one. Regardless of how it happens, the result is a newfound freedom to live life on our terms. In embracing this mindset, it's important to remember that we owe nothing to the world except our genuine selves. We are not defined by how others perceive us, but by how we perceive and honor our inner truths. By choosing authenticity over conformity, we pave the way for a life filled with purpose, joy, and peace. Practical steps to let go of social expectations. 1. Reflect on your values. Spend time identifying what truly matters to you. Consider writing down your core values and how they align with your current lifestyle. 2. Set boundaries. Learn to say no to activities or relationships that drain your energy. Protect your time and focus on what brings you happiness. 3. Pursue your passions. Revisit hobbies or interests that you may have neglected. Whether it's painting, gardening, writing, or traveling, find joy in doing things for yourself. 4. Embrace solitude. Solitude is not loneliness. It's an opportunity to connect with yourself and recharge. Don't be afraid to spend time alone. 5. Surround yourself with supportive people. Seek out individuals who respect and encourage your choices. Positive relationships can provide strength and inspiration. Number 6. Practice self-compassion. Letting go of societal expectations is not always easy. Be kind to yourself as you navigate this journey and celebrate small victories along the way. Letting go of social expectations is not about isolating ourselves or rejecting society altogether. Instead, it's about finding balance, honoring our responsibilities while staying true to our values and desires. As we age, this balance becomes increasingly important, allowing us to focus on what truly matters. Mrs. Land's story reminds us that it is never too late to redefine our path and live authentically. By embracing who we are and letting go of external pressures, we can create a life that is not only fulfilling, but also uniquely our own. Number 7, redefining connection. Connection is one of the most essential elements of the human experience. Yet it evolves and takes on new dimensions as we age. In our youth, connection often revolves around vibrant social interactions, building careers, and nurturing families. However, as the years go by, connection shifts to something more profound and nuanced. It's no longer about the intensity or frequency of interactions, but rather their authenticity and the meaning they carry. There was an elderly man named Mr. Ellis who visited the park every morning. Clad in his well-worn coat and carrying a small bag of birdseed, he made his way to the same wooden bench by the pond. To onlookers, it may have seemed like a solitary routine, yet to Mr. Ellis, it was a deeply fulfilling ritual. As he scattered seeds on the ground, flocks of pigeons, sparrows, and the occasional squirrel would approach, drawn by his quiet presence. Mr. Ellis didn't speak much to the other park visitors. He nodded politely to joggers or exchanged brief pleasantries with dog walkers, but his true connection was with the natural world. The rustling of leaves, the gentle quacking of ducks, and the fluttering wings of birds offered him a profound sense of unity. These moments of tranquility reminded him of the interconnectedness of all life, a connection that transcended words and human relationships. For Mr. Ellis, the act of feeding the birds was more than a pastime. It was a communion with something greater than himself. Over time, the park regulars began to notice Mr. Ellis's quiet dedication. Some joined him on the bench, sharing stories or simply sitting in comfortable silence. A young mother and her child often stopped to watch the birds, and Mr. Ellis would hand the little boy a handful of seeds, encouraging him to participate. Slowly, a community formed around this simple ritual. What began as a solitary act became a subtle yet powerful reminder that connection can arise in the most unexpected ways. Connection in old age is often misunderstood. It's not necessarily about maintaining a large social circle or filling every hour with activity. Instead, it's about being present and open to the moments that life offers. Authentic connection doesn't demand constant interaction. It thrives in the quiet acknowledgement of shared existence. Whether it's a shared smile with a stranger, the warm touch of a loved one, or the rustle of leaves on a windy day, these experiences remind us that we are never truly alone. Modern society often emphasizes busyness and productivity, sometimes overlooking the quieter, more introspective aspects of connection. For the elderly, these quieter moments often become the cornerstone of their lives. They offer an opportunity to reflect on the richness of the human experience and to appreciate the beauty in simplicity. Connection, in this sense, is less about doing and more about being present, being aware, and being open to the small yet profound moments that life provides. One of the most profound realizations in later life is that connection isn't limited to human relationships. It extends to nature, memories, art, and even oneself. For some, like Mr. Ellis, it may be the gentle companionship of animals or the solace found in a quiet morning walk. For others, it might be tending to a garden, revisiting old photographs, or immersing oneself in music or literature. This broader perspective on connection challenges the conventional notion that meaningful relationships must always involve other people. It recognizes the interconnectedness of all things and highlights the ways in which even solitary activities can bring a deep sense of fulfillment. A woman knitting by the window, a man sketching landscapes in his notebook, or someone savoring the aroma of freshly brewed tea. These are all examples of connection that transcend the boundaries of traditional social interaction. While the essence of connection evolves with age, there are practical steps that can help foster it in meaningful ways. Embrace rituals. Simple daily routines, like Mr. Ellis's bird feeding ritual, can create a sense of purpose and connection. Cultivate mindfulness. Being present in the moment allows for a deeper appreciation of life's subtleties, from the sound of rain to the feel of sunlight on your skin. Engage with nature. Spending time outdoors, gardening, or simply observing the changing seasons can provide a profound sense of interconnectedness. Nurture creativity. Activities like painting, writing, or crafting offer an outlet for self-expression and a way to connect with one's inner self. Seek community. Whether it's through a shared hobby, volunteering, or simply spending time with neighbors, fostering relationships can add richness to daily life. Honor memories. Reflecting on life experiences and sharing stories with others can create a bridge between the past and the present. At its core, connection is a universal need that transcends age, culture, and circumstances. Yet, as we grow older, our understanding of connection deepens. We come to realize that it's not about the quantity of relationships, but their quality. It's not about constant interaction, but the depth of shared moments. And it's not about grand gestures, but the quiet, everyday acts that remind us of our place in the world. The story of Mr. Ellis and his quiet companionship with the birds serves as a powerful metaphor for this evolved understanding of connection. It reminds us that even in solitude, we can find unity. Even in silence, we can experience profound meaning. And even in the simplest of acts, we can discover a sense of belonging that enriches our lives. In redefining connection, we open ourselves to a world of possibilities. We learn to see beauty in the mundane, to find joy in the present, and to appreciate the intricate web of relationships that bind us to the universe. Ultimately, connection is not something we seek. It's something we cultivate by being open, present, and attuned to the moments that make life extraordinary. As we grow older, life presents us with a unique gift: the opportunity to embrace solitude, self-reliance, and authentic connections. Old age is not a time of decline, but a sacred chapter, rich with lessons and opportunities for growth. It is a season of life that allows us to reconnect with our true selves and reflect on the meaning of existence without the constant distractions that accompany youth. The ability to enjoy solitude is not merely a sign of self-sufficiency. It is a profound recognition of the peace and wisdom that reside within. In solitude, we rediscover the quiet beauty of life's simple moments. A sunrise viewed in stillness, the rustling of leaves in the breeze, or the warmth of a cup of tea can all become profound experiences. These moments remind us that happiness does not always come from external achievements or relationships, but often arises from an inner state of contentment. Solitude teaches us to listen to the whispers of our soul, guiding us toward what truly matters. Self-reliance grows in the space of solitude. When we are no longer surrounded by the constant hum of others' expectations, we begin to trust our own instincts and capabilities. We learn to appreciate the strength that has carried us through life's trials and celebrate the resilience that has allowed us to grow. This phase of life is not about withdrawing from the world, but about finding a deeper connection to it through self-awareness and self-acceptance. Authentic connections take on new significance in our later years. Rather than seeking quantity, we value quality in our relationships. Old age offers the clarity to discern which bonds are nourishing and which may drain our energy. It becomes a time to cherish those who truly understand and support us, fostering connections built on mutual respect and love. These relationships become sources of joy and companionship, enriching our lives in profound ways. This sacred chapter of life also invites us to reflect on our legacy. How have we impacted those around us? What values and lessons do we hope to pass on? These questions become a source of motivation to live with intention, leaving behind a trail of kindness, wisdom, and inspiration for future generations. In solitude, we can contemplate our purpose and align our actions with the legacy we wish to leave. Your worth and happiness are not defined by the size of your social circle, but by the depth of your inner world and the connections you choose to nurture. Let this stage of life be a celebration of who you are and the legacy you leave behind. Embrace the gift of solitude, and you will discover the immense peace and clarity it brings. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If this video resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe to Buddhist Mindfulness. Let us know in the comments, what lesson from today's video inspired you the most? Together, let's continue to explore the profound truths of life, cultivating wisdom and mindfulness as we go forward. May we all find joy in the beauty of the present moment and the richness of solitude.